Hi, everybody. It's Sarah Saxby, your transformation coach at Strategies for Happiness, author of Comfortable Hell, and your guide to a new way forward. Today, I want to talk a little bit about shrinking yourself so other people can stay big. So I guess, ask yourself that question. Do you feel like you have ever shrunk yourself so someone else can stay big? And I'll give you an example of that. I think I shared this in another video. There was a person 2 years ago that came to my house and said that he thought I would be wearing lingerie for him. Mind you, completely inappropriate, and that would never happen. But he said it. And I never spoke up. So what I did was I shrunk myself so that person can stay big. Do you see what I'm saying? Years ago, when I lived in an apartment with my children, this person entered my apartment unbeknownst to me and had sex with his girlfriend on my bed. Now, how that happened, that's a whole nother story. But just to give the example, I never said anything to this person. And that was shrinking me so he could stay big. And why is that okay? Like, why didn't I freaking skywrite it all over the world, all over the place, all over the sky? Why did I not do it? Because it was okay to shrink me and who I am so other people around me will stay big. I mean, just to give like another example, maybe something a little more simple, because what I just said was pretty fucked up, although it did happen. What if you have rules, like a specific rule for your kids and they break it and you don't say anything? You're shrinking yourself so someone else can stay big, right? I mean, you're avoiding it. You're avoiding that situation because it's going to require you to also stay big. And that takes a lot of fucking work, right? Or it feels like it does. And we were raised that it's easier to just shrink yourself. I mean, and maybe there's like a situation at work where, somebody's like kind of manipulative and, they say something and you don't speak up. So that person remains big, but you shrink yourself. I mean, we do it like all day long. I mean, I'm completely a person who has I wasn't raised to have constructive confrontations. I was raised to be quiet. I matter less, right? So people can say jacked up shit and I will just shrink myself. I will stay small and you can stay big. I'm reading this book, and maybe some of you have read it, Crucial Conversations. It's so practical and useful. And I mean, I've learned a lot because I wasn't raised in an environment where we talked about anything, right? But one thing that I found to be so true is that we avoid confrontations because we have learned that we have to choose between the truth and losing someone. So think about that. We usually don't speak the truth because of a fear of losing someone or something, right? You don't speak up at your job because you're afraid of losing it. Why I didn't speak up in these particular situations that happened to me, when you could be looking at me going, girl, that's fucked up. I don't know why I didn't speak up then. I don't know. I was afraid. I don't know. I was afraid of the feeling of confrontation, of the weirdness. If I did say something, I didn't want that person to be mad at me, but it's like if you're going to have a constructive conversation with someone, respectful and a respectful conversation, truthful, and that person decides to leave you, I mean, think of my situation. would you look at it like a big loss if that person left or didn't like me? Obviously, they didn't like me if they were doing these things to me. They were completely disrespecting me. So why not take the risk and confront and say, I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? Or, confront about, like, regardless of the outcome, as long as you are speaking your truth, let the universe decide. I mean, it's most likely making room for something better or someone better, but we're so holding on because we think we know what's best for us, right? I think I know what's best, and I'm going to hold on to this person that's fucking some girl in my bed. Why? I mean, this person's garbage. And I let them be big while I took a back seat and just stayed quiet. One of my favorite episodes of The Office is Beach Party, right? When Pam finally decides to, and it seems so easy when it's in like a show or a movie or something like that, right? Where she just decides to tell everyone how she feels. And I know it's a show, but it's not like anyone does. Well, I mean, Jim's girlfriend was kind of like, but I mean, they had problems and it worked out or whatever. But like, she took a risk and she told everyone that she was hurt. People didn't show up to her art show and she never said anything, right? So she minimized herself. So everyone else could just go on about their day and feel big. And half the people probably, most of them didn't even think about it, didn't even bother, it didn't even cross their mind. And here she is shrinking herself so other people can remain big. But she finally confronted. And she's like, look, you all hurt me. And that's not okay. And how you feel about it, how you feel about me after I say this is up to you. As long as you know that you hurt me. I invited you all to something very important to me. And you hurt me. And she told Jim exactly how she felt. I mean, how else was anything ever going to change if she just kept quiet? And it's such a, I know it's The Office and it's funny and it's all these things, but it's like there's a lot of learning from some of this stuff. She decided to make herself big. And the consequences were of no concern because she was big and people were going to come and go as they should out of your life. As long as you remain big, you're not hurting anyone. You're being truthful to yourself. And we haven't been raised, I know people in my generation anyway, are, the Gen Xers, the neglected or whatever they say they call us. But it's like, I know for sure we weren't raised to speak the truth and to stay big. But I thought I'm just having these feelings today and wanting from now on, giving you all the authorization to stay big just like everyone else and to be able to let go when it's not serving you anymore. Don't just make someone else big, you're big too. So follow me for more. Send me an email if that's better, sarah@strategiesforhappiness.com. I would love to hear from you all and your stories of now staying big. Bye, guys.